are issues that we ought to discuss here. Eti yengram nafe yemfa ensem emfa ntodwa emfa ma ahwefo no. Now first of all, Asante Kotoko starting lineup no. Kotoko make sure say obenya midfield dominance. Tinie. And now Kotoko decided to call for midfield dominance. And clearly, the coach Karim Zito Peno and it's a Bibiani Goalstars only on Mutijna 3 in the middle, 3 in attacker. Now say as a more efa sa midfield battle no. So Kotoko went for dominance in the middle by parading 4 midfielders. Lord Hilary Adabo, Kojo Set, Emmanuel Entry, and a branch of the Philip Amo. These are the 4 midfielders that Kotoko Ediomubo game no. And Kotoko clearly were looking for midfield dominance. Goalstars at the 3 and the back. And so in early part of the game, especially in the first half, total dominance in the middle. Now Goalstars, because they knew their weakness, say Francis Twene anya fit into Amobi. In fact, Francis any game in Mkrano. Omo decided say Omo di Apia McCarthy ball long balls. So what we saw was that Apia McCarthy decided say Obo long balls nina at the ama BPN Goalstars. That's what Omo decided here in the first half. But then now Asante Kotoko had it covered because Krobia resorted to using the middle. So Kojo Set, Hilary Adabo, Emmanuel Entry, and Abrante at the Philip Amo. And first half, Obi Oshe game be a bit dance say na performance at the Emmanuel Entry at the Mayeno in the first half no na was ropa. So that's exactly how Kotoko set it up the team no. Defense no, goalkeeper Kamara, right back na Shaibu Abubakar started here. Unfortunately, Abubakar Shaibu less than 10 minutes game him and so far a knock 80 ofrim Emma Musa Hamzata who eventually scored the only goal of the game. Left side of defense, Patrick Asiru started. He left Emma Francis Aqua Ebijinem. Center back, no, the first captain and the second captain. It's called regular captain, Samba. The deputy, Henry Ansu, Omienu, and a ball for M5. Then in 15, and a match of 4 players, Omnigen 15. And anymore, Morfing, Donzo, and Albert Amwa started the Asante Kotoko. So this is our Karim Zito, as I said, the Manson. Young Costa from Frimpong, Manson, how also, as I say, Bibiani Goalstars, a team, no? And Goalstars, goalkeeper Emmanuel Kobe, fantastic goalkeeper by all standards. Emmanuel Kobe, no? Or a fantastic goalkeeper by all standards. He started the game the goalkeeping department. Kelvin upon any Gideon Anaba, fantastic center pair. Omumienu omubo ewunfifio anoshi. Ena obo Emmanuel Adi one side. Na ene de oya ne say no person create overload the flanks. Enti contornum bola coach Esha says the contornum ball flanks on enya asem because he wanted to create sa overload no. Na onumum enya the advantage on the flanks over Asante Kotoko. But no question say Kotoko kept their shape and their composure, especially our first half in there. Krobia Asante Kotoko keeping shape and composure. And no idea bakwa a buama Kotoko enya control nana omo epe game no. Kotoko had the control that they wanted in the game itself. Anymore, Atakumi Samuel onya 2 knocks be pa na easy. 2 knocks. Kofoni shari grisi ne pa. Atakumi kura performance record for me Emmanuel Konto, Michael Nkwa, and Samson Eduku. So Samuel Champo be free bright chereme. Apia McCarthy so be free. I'm a Goalstars at try say one more so betimi enya game no kwan mo fa so epe. But unfortunately for Goalstars, Asante Kotoko came with other ideas and Krobia eventually are running away with the trophy. Now game no in the first half, even though Kotoko dominated the entire first half, Asante Kotoko and created enough scoring opportunities in the first half. In terms of dominance, Kotoko created more. But in terms of the Kotoko creating, na ɔbɔ shot on target na bi ɔbɔ na keeper yi daabi na nte saa na ɛnyɛ game akotoko epic goalkeeper Emmanuel Kobe busy in the post but Kotoko had control of the game. My friend told you say oi Kotoko's control ɛwɔ game no efiri hɔ a adeɛ baako na yɛ clear ne sɛ in the first half Emmanuel Entry was the orchestrator. He was the main man for Asante Kotoko. Emmanuel Entry was the main man for Asante Kotoko. Tisa ɔhwɛ ya ɔmo de Emmanuel Entry set kojo ɛsa na wanya double number 8 and mo hwɛ bi YouTube channel ɛnura me kyerɛkyerɛ mo sɛ Asante Kotoko ɛbɛbɔ double 8 and a half 10. So Emmanuel Entry be operate as 8 and 10, half 8, half 10. But set kojo bɛbɔ as the 8. Etiama Kotoko ɛnya double number 8. No manya half 10. And no de Philip Amo and so be operate as the 10. Nti Kotoko game number strategically. No more Emmanuel Entry all operate as 8, half 8, half 10. And no more Philip Amo operate as half 10 and a winger. So Emma Kotoko numbers up front. Kotoko got the numbers up front. Unfortunately, they were not shooting. And yeah, a case of Bonnie shooting keeper in the first half. That was not the story. Story never here say at least Kotoko and say now about top 4. Game no krana drain the mass and take Kotoko. Top 4 na Kotoko boy no. Na game na drain the Kotoko. But at least they now had total and absolute control of proceedings in the middle. Etia Boama Asante Kotoko. And you might be at the moment in Midfield. Goalstars on the other hand, ever second half, but Goalstars in the first half. Now, and you're able possession, but because there was Apia McCarthy, Anna McCarthy ball long balls. McCarthy ball long passes, and anytime ball long pass, Biano or body a coma conto, and I say or ball long pass, Eddie compare some more attackumi, any of my attackers, you know, and they were not the team controlling the game, but they were creating the better openings than Asante Kotoko. Openings. So, boy, they say, a bit more no. No more creative better ones, no. At the chain, Krobi Asante Kotoko. That is a fact that happened in the first half. Now, first half, no. Overall, Kotoko had the dominance, but we're not shooting. But who you be able to say, Asante Kotoko first half performance, you know. And far better than the 3 games on Buchato or the Gaka Tofon. So that was it. Now, Yambra second half. Now, Yambra said, yeah, second department of the game. And Yoma AC a flow at the Asante Kotoko. Moana Mutie alongside. Minute let him come with you and he didn't come. Are Kotoko going to hold on? Can Kotoko on? Be ye, it is Sankomana. And Asante Kotoko held on. And by the 70th minute, Anna Kotoko go no ebaye. Goalstars, they have themselves to blame, and I'll tell you why. Some free kicks now, Kotoko enya free kick Kotoko nya ya. Francis Akwa, SND in an inch perfect cross. Emma Kotoko 2 players, and I get carbon crash him. Musa Hamzata, Eko carbon etwatrem. Goalstars enya more than 10, if my memory serves me right. Omunfanya he. Omunya bebre omumfanya hwe. But Asante Kotoko execute the ye. And a crop Asante Kotoko. Edi enya that particular victory, no, and so Eddie Ifrio. So if Goalstars anybody to blame, they must blame themselves. Omunya numerous free kicks. Omun to be amfanya hwe. Musa Hamzata, who came in by force major, who said a prana by nama Musa Hamzata. Ebe ura park na so. Hamzata fortunately, or didn't I connect a ball. But the game itself was played after Kotoko scored. Chenye. After Kotoko go no, the 70th minute, no. After he started say bobo no pa. Because so the ball was from Francis Akwa. Kojo set a fleke, Kojo set na diniti a fleke ball no. And then the ball goalkeeper no kran so Zakai. Eti Emmanuel Kobe stretching in Zakai. And a ball ever taught the path of the Kotoko on Russian player or the ball at him. But the game was played after that time. So Kotoko had done substitutions. And one thing so they say Emmanuel Efrim ama Tenedu aba near busa questions. But Tenedu had the calmness eba mfimfio because at that time na Goalstars era ne eba Kotoko. But Tenedu Samuel had the calmness at the ba mfimfio at Asante Kotoko boku eye pa. So it was very calm mfimfio because of Samuel Tenedu's presence. And a double the ahodin dwuma ni nyina Lord Hilaria double na oya ahodin dwuma ni nyina bono opem no twa Kotoko edge yellow cards pa. Yellow cards, by the man Kotoko pa. The dying embers of the game. I think that Nesenka Abranche Din Ede Morfin Donzo Eshe go back to the Manson Kotoko. Sabone break here no. Now a opportunity for Morfin Donzo. Senko de Bono ever to but unfortunately, when to me Anfa Bono Anfa and Twatrenum. And keeper SCV Sabono. Now the lessons for Asante Kotoko any. Now, first half, Kotoko's team was opened up on several occasions. First half, Kotoko team no. One of the long balls, ABA Kotoko team num severally. It is something Asante Kotoko coach as well. Second half, a brand Goalstars echo down. No, Berema Ban Ebe Jina. In fact, they are not even gone down. But the time Berema Ban Ebe Jina. The left side, baby, right side of Goalstars attack, and the left side of Kotoko's defense. Berima Ban take on Patrick Asiedu on numerous occasions, countless occasions. Sabreno as a coach reacted, and Obabo Zito Abasu he reacted. Oh, you know, at a different player by. But I think that even in the game, before substitution, never cost no. Nezega, Wamo what we call tactical switches. Nasa Komoma Kojoset and now say Philip Amo Eba Buado because after the boss Nina a bus and Tekoko Afemodo and Nina and on that side. So it is something that Nasa Kabibiani Goalstars for no one of Eshe na Wamo Ayamojuma. Nasa Goalstars Eshe no yes Ejuman. Kotoko Eshe no yes Ejuman. Goalstars on the other hand. Coach Stephen Frimpong Manson, when you have the advantage of pushing the ball into a position area, coach, especially you are down. Now you're down. It's that advantage now. A buyer, Afena, Berma a very skillful player. Berma a uses our area on. Nesaka, Omo AS Ejumano. Unfortunately, one of them to me, Anya Sejumano and Fama. Goalstars and take advantage. Go na share goalkeeper Emmanuel Kobe he stretched a hand touched the ball, but your touch was feeble. At that point in time, Bono had been flicked, and South flick no a jevo say go no ebia goalkeeper no one can kebet my offside because Goalstars player no try to ebe serve as the goalkeeper. And I'm not going to player leading, but because Emmanuel Kobe in Zaka ball, every offside situation from a ball from you to an opponent player cannot be an offside. And so the player goalkeeper on pass the ball at the opponent it cannot be an offside. So the touch now in Zaka music, born is no page on referee so. So touch now, Emma and nullify every possible offside situation. It nullified every possible offside situation. And so, Goalstars, the lessons are that more Africa. Sa openings a munya ya. More to be unfaborn anya sheno. Problematic. In Africa, you don't get a lot of chances. Modi mutia anya yo. Goalstars first game. Or Kwakobo JS Kabili. North African opposition. First game. Enti a difficult at the moment Angaza, and you don't make it more difficult for yourselves. And instead of money more difficult at the moment, and they would have to start with converting chances, seizing opportunities to control play. Kotoko Abawe Abeshemu Abeje the champion of champions. You people must, as it were, ensure say mubenya control. Na mubese goals. And in African Cup competition, it is always going to be difficult for BBN Goalstars say omo ebenya de wonom epe. So Kotoko are the champions. They deserve it. Game no na a tight game. Baby dance park no baby grounds back Kotoko. Ensuro sa park no so because resource and content ya omo. Say baby akaza Kotoko global game I saw mo yem hye umpire University of Ghana or University of Ghana Stadium or Kotoko entai enya resource ye. Emza kan kwa na my FA Cup mu ye de ma Kotoko za no. University of Ghana Stadium Kotoko entai enya resource emfa emfrio. Enti eno said esi etie Kotoko are the champion of champions. Na kwasiedu trophy kwasi nzezo sombi because Kotoko na aje. Samba Ndongani O'Neil Gilbani Kotoko captain. Samba lifted President's Cup. Wa lifted a friend say a Toyota Cup. And wa lifted champion of champions. He say Kotoko has on Beji League no next season. Etia no said a honsem no esi etie wide Emma yen ahwefo no. Now adia ba kwa Abdul Karim Zito in the second half na yebebo na baso some tactical switch no ye de Francis Akwa ebe CV situation na yi wo no. What is the name of that player? Asiedu was really Patrick Asiedu was really struggling to keep out that player Bemaba. He was struggling to keep him out. But eventually coach yes I switch no. The opponent coach enya antidote to it. Makache opponent coach ne say there be enya sa. Frimpong Manson na say omuvu very much back the other side of the flanks. It will be about attacking where you were from. You do what we call interpositional change. Nanka very much back the other side, not the other player not by this side. Then ka very much back twaso, they know they particularly you know. Or twaso they call Musa Hamzata. But coach coach the opponent coach which is Stephen Frimpong Manson and change he kept on to Diana Oyena. Mami fun to just say Osha game no the dynamics of the game say they see corner. Adia ba kwa na se coach so ye ntem aye se kwampoku baba game no ntem. Minim kwame se bi onjeda. Se kwame so na no ka so abre. Se kwampoku enye injeda. Nessa Pampoku a bun because now a baby pressure Goalstars is a cup game. Let's throw everything to let's throw aside away caution. Now young because you car you have penalties or Shabako can still watch it. It decided to do that. But if competence was there, Bianca for some back was baby Zano and car one of Marcos baby and also a one thing I say tactically, you who side game with you. After my fun to just say, Asante Kotoko, players the free bench by they came with impact. Kotoko players don't free bench by they came with impact. So first player, our free bench by or they impact Ebra Asante Kotoko. Hamzata, not because he scored, but he came to play in an unfavorable position. Musa Hamzata or a typical centre back and over right back on your player or what on your player or fast or what dear but on your quick sir. But he came in there and played very well. So Hamzata had the impact every Asante Kotoko. Abrante did Tenedu Ebeyen Ebebo Mode pa Sanso and Francis Akwa and so Ebebo Mode Kwame the Obaino. I think he got less than 5 touches in a game. It won't me analyze Kwame, but you could see that players free bench by the impact Ebra Asante Kotoko compared to Baby any Goalstars. Because any coach from Frimpong Manson, you must have an antidote to Francis Twene's absence. Francis Twene, I'm saying Francis Twene Tino Mujaima, Frankamankwako and all. And Francis Twene, please. You guys must work around the clock to get a player because Bonana, yeah, Bona, Frankamankwa, and that's which Manko, midfield balance and control. And you had Francis Chene, of course, fantastic player. Between Chene and Apia McCarthy, Obia with different dimension to the game. Obia with different dimension to the game. But Chene's absence and it created problems at the moment. And tactically, it must be solved. I think that Asante Kotoko coach we be pressure e de afiri ne so e be pressure afiri mranche no so o say de omusi ji omuni o park ne so a e pressure e de afiri omo so. Kotoko can rely on the services of Lord Hilary Adabo say game we are Adabo what it takes say obetimi ama that balance e de abra Asante Kotoko Adabo e the balance e bra Asante Kotoko yie pa enti yellow card no je the tactical yellow card tactically now he needed to foul that player because maybe akwa no train wie na no the ball na duru there. If he had not gone in for that foul kebet my thing e de ama Asante Kotoko so Adabo enso e kire say or reliable for number 6 position no se Kotoko etiminya Sadiq Al-Hassan e de beka ho a omo midfield na ebe solved say there Kotoko are not going for any striker nya dia Kotoko to striker etiano one thing that obi anfa she say Kotoko just one player e de aba sa player na ebe player obe operate as a DM or a CM central midfielder or defensive midfielder and Kotoko epe omunya de bar omo wie and then you 11:59 and a transfer window no e close e Ghana 11:59 na transfer window no close so far Kotoko players omo afa 15 omo de ba ko be count 16 a Kotoko are within range and bet to register players but the explanation eba e the amount quite before so Kotoko bet to register players no so Asante Kotoko the champions or champions of champions they won the FA Cup and on share the league winners and Kotoko akọ bibiani akọje enti omo ye super cup holders e Ghana na se season e twam no Kotoko eje 2 trophies in Ghana the FA Cup and Washe Goldstars aje the champion of champions. Now the attention switches to the Ghana Premier League and the CAF Confederations Cup game no Kotoko ebebo Kwara United e Kumasi na omo akọ piemu e Kwara. We are still trying to get confirmation as to Kwara baby omo game no almost stadium so CAF enya nyintum se CAF akwaje tum de no mabaje baba yara tum but so far CAF enya nyintum etiachese game e be Lagos and as game e ba so a ye don nsem no e de ema ye ahwefo ene mo amutie no enti ye mfansi ye kwaba na fe ye de player ratings no enso e de aba enya se Kotoko kwaba na be player ratings e de ama ye